Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Greg Wolf.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses as week number 3 kicks off at Saratoga. Greg Wolf, Andy Serling. We're brought to you by Saratoga Springwater, and this is day 10. 25% of the meet will be done after today's card.
Don't say that. I feel rushed when you do that.
It's like the cat on the roof joke. You know, we're trying to gradually ease into it. I don't say it when I say 90% of the meet is done.
I'm trying to, honestly, this year more than any other year, I'm trying to just every single moment I'm trying to enjoy and take in here.
That's good. You should.
And it has elongated it for me.
Has the family been out yet?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, they have.
Yeah.
Good. Kept them away from me, I noticed, but that's good. Everything's going well with them?
They're doing great. Yeah, they're going to come again on Saturday.
Excellent. Oh, good day to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you can't sort of appreciate Saratoga, and there's so much to love and so little to not like, it's just a pleasure. You and I have a bit of a commute to the races, though you have a pretty easy commute to Aqueduct.
Oh, I actually don't mind it. I do. I have a commute, but it's time to, I get to walk in, I get to reflect.
Yeah, it's
and
nice.
I don't think about it too much. And I don't have to drive, so it doesn't matter.
Right. I walk. I very rarely drive up here, except sometimes.
What you're
on
talking
dark
about
days
here,
with
my commute here is not very long.
No. Today, here it's wonderful, and that's the quality of life thing. Quality of life gets better when you join Naira Bets. How's that for a segue? Head on over to Naira Bets. You're not a member. Use the promo code SPA200, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. We have the middle pick 4.
Yes, we do.
You're excited about the middle pick 4, race number 4. 2, 4. No, it's 3, 4, and 7, I want to say today, because the jump race, we don't start the pick 5 until race number 2. And we have a $10 bonus. You bet 50 or more here at Delaware Park if you opt in over at Naira Bets. We also have the contest. We want to talk about that. Oh, First Responders Day, that's tomorrow. Free admission for all first responders. More information over at Naira.com. Lots of information at Naira.com. That's going to be Thursday, July 27th, also known as tomorrow. Now the contest. We have a Saturday contest, $300 buy-in. You have until Friday at 5 p.m. Head over to Naira.com/contest. But we just started these last week or two. I love this. A feeder contest, Friday. A $50, I believe, contest.
40, I think, isn't
40?
it?
No, I'm going to wait until the slate finally rears its head. $40 buy-in. Very good, Greg. Thank you. You can earn your way into the contest. I like
I
that.
got applause for that. You're welcome.
Yeah, those people are excited. There's people making out as they're making out in the paddock. They're so excited about the. I figured out it was a wedding.
No.
Our
It,
TV
was,
told
it
me
had nothing to do with the wedding. They were applauding that I got the $40 right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and there's no question. It's not about the wedding. Please, people are excited. There is a wedding in the paddock right now. Congratulations to somebody.
Someone on our staff?
Not that I know of.
Could be.
Really?
You know, a lot of people getting married lately.
Really?
Yeah.
You got married?
I did.
Yeah.
We had a couple
Congratulations.
others.
That's true. Jonathan got married. Anybody else?
There's one other one. It'll come to me. I
Okay.
wasn't invited, obviously.
It's okay. I consider it an invite when I don't get invited to weddings.
That's
finally.
That's what I thought. That's why I did invite you.
Apparently, all of your friends don't feel that way. We're also, finally, last but not least, we have the show today from 1 to 6:30 on FS2. We start out with the jump race today. Do you have any pre-thoughts on the jump race? Mr. Connecticut's back. Are we
that's
excited
true.
for that?
Well, I know who is excited about it. I'm excited to see that horse who won by 30 lengths last time out. See if Beat Le Bon for Jack Fisher can do anything off that performance.
That's quite a performance. It's hard to really know what was going on in that race, but I agree. L'Imperador, who won our Bernard Baruch a couple of years ago, I believe, he's running in there as well. And for those that aren't familiar with Mr. Connecticut and the story behind that, Acacia now Clement, Courtney Clement, was Miss Connecticut, and she married Miguel Clement, and he was jokingly referred to as Mr. Connecticut. And so they named a horse after him.
I love that.
And then gelded him. And he's finding another career as a jumper.
Okay.
So
that had nothing to do with the story.
No, but I think it's relevant.
Okay.
I just think it should not be left out of the story.
All right.
Anyhow, we'll move on to race number 2. Big scratch in race number 2 and Last Chance to Glory, a horse that I liked. I wanted to bet against in the race. I wanted to bet the other Linda Rice horse. And, I mean, to deny how incredibly well Linda Rice's horses have been running at this meet is to have had your eyes closed for the first 2 weeks. I mean, that horse she claimed from Tom Amoss had run mid to high 70 buyers with 4 straight wins, was coming again at the finish, got a 94 buyer on Sunday's card. These horses are improving their figs, and this is a horse, Greg, that has back figs that are fast enough to win this race, and the last fig isn't quite good enough, but why shouldn't I assume this horse should improve like all the others? You are against this one.
I'm wondering what they're going to do with this horse, because this horse actually has speed to be in front in this race.
I agree.
Has not been there the last couple of starts, but they have a quick bullet 4-furlong move last time out. Is that saying, let's be aggressive and get this horse to the front today?
Well, at the very least, the way Linda's horses are running, I'm sure he'll be forwardly placed. You have to imagine Jake Rocks, who's a kind of a wild card. We haven't seen him in quite a while, but he was in tremendous form. But can he run as well for Dom Scatino as he was running for Rob Atras?
Yeah, and that's a horse who did get the lead over Milton the Monster and beat that horse last time out. That horse came back, was, I believe, second to Dot's Dollar.
Late in the closing day, I want to say, either Saturday or Sunday.
May
at
have
Belmont,
been, yeah. That horse is dangerous. Whoever gets a lead between those two, and maybe it's Jake Rocks, but I'm just concerned with that other horse. I thought Silk Trade was just facing better company in this group.
We'll take a look at his last race at Keeneland winning. I have no argument. He finished second last time, but talk about him.
Yeah, this is at 7 furlongs against Gunnett. Now, this was with Norm Cassidy. Diodoro claims him. Diodoro looking for his first winner of the meet. Beats Gunnett in this spot. Gunnett would come back and beat Nova Rags in allowance optional 80 race with a buyer in the 90s.
Off the claim for Linda Rice, or had been claimed, I think, out of this race by Linda Rice, as a matter of fact.
Okay. This horse has just been facing tougher company. I think class-wise is the class of this field.
Oh, I think if you don't like the 7 like I do, he's the horse to beat. Does it worry you at all that he was claimed 3 months ago and he's been laid up and now he comes in for, 2/3 of the claiming price? That worries me a little bit.
Everything worries me.
Yeah, I'm aware.
And
There's a lot to be worried about.
Well, it's one of the best claiming trainers in the country, too, but his success rate at Saratoga is not what it is elsewhere.
Right. And elsewhere, he's also better going longer, though this is 7 furlongs, but I have no argument with him. You have Ram second. Do you think that one of us needs to talk to Wayne Lucas about the condition book, that he's running a horse that's eligible for knowledge of 3 lifetime conditional claimers, now 2 in a row in open claiming races? I'm going to speak to Wayne about this next time I see him. Though I'm guessing he knows how to read a condition book.
This horse was made out to be really good at one point.
He was.
I know he's not that same horse anymore, but he has some back class there. This horse was third to Cody's Wish at one point. But even go 3-4 starts back, Floki's Flight I know he was a distant third to him. Floki's Flight is a pretty good horse. He's first or second in 10 of 13 starts. He's won 3 in a row. I think maybe he could just find the race a little bit more to his liking. If he does get that pace with the 5 and the 7 in here, he can make an impact late.
I wish I could make some kind of excuse for his last race where they good, decent
bad.
horses, but he was bad in there. Lafleet's Feet was picking up the pieces last time. If you feel like the race could fall apart, I guess he's not impossible. And the wild card, of course, is Jake Rocks. See what happens in race number 2. The third race has a horse in the number 7, Graham, who is going to be tough to beat based on his last race. And I think the only way you may want to try to beat him is if you're taking an unknown. And he is the number 1 horse in this race. And you're going to see him. He just sort of shuffles himself in the race, but he's going to get severely steadied shortly in this race. Right in here. Here it comes, ba-boom. And also, we should mention, is this the Welcome Back Jose Ortiz race? No, he's not in. He's not in here. He's scratched out of the first.
Yeah, he was on the 1. Yeah, Beautiful Thief.
Yeah, no, I read. Was he? Oh, okay. Well, he scratched out of the first 1 and the 2-1 in the second race. Anyway. Getting back to Graham, he gets completely shuffled out of the race. I thought ran very well. How good was the race, though?
I thought this was I like this horse today. I couldn't go against him. He makes this huge late run. He dropped all the way back to last there after he checked out of there. Horse he beats, gets up and beats by nose, Nicky Jolene, comes back and airs by 4 lengths in a state-bred maiden special going 5 furlongs.
No, I'm not going to. Now, wait a second. Where did Nicky Jolene win? I forgot to look it up.
Where
did he win a turf race?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
State-bred maiden special on the turf going 5.
Oh, right. I know that. That's the Rob Falcone horse. I do know who that is. Right. He came back to win. I agree. And the winner was a George Weaver, I believe, and Weaver was on that huge run with his 2-year-olds. He's way the horse to beat. I can't resist the pedigree on Being Betty. Lady Joan is a half to the horse that upset the Philly, the male division of. Yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
That whole family, they were all turf runners. And I think that horse is a weekend hideaway as well. And so there's plenty of turf pedigree on this horse, and I just can't resist it. So I've got this horse on top, not taking a big stand against Graham, though.
I think that 7 is a standout. I'm going to key that horse. I do think the 9's interesting, though, for Ray Shudapas. First-time starter, and where is it? The half to Rambling Wreck out of the New York Stallion Series. Dan produced that horse as well. Actually, I believe a full brother.
Where are we?
To Rambling Wreck.
Heavenly.
Yeah, Heavenly
Rambling Wreck being, remind me?
From the New York Stallion Series. Just got beat for Danny Gargan.
Yes. No. Wait, really?
Yeah.
No, the 9 is a half to 26 Black.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the 26 Black, who was second to Rambling Wreck.
Yes, okay.
I can't
26
even read
Black's
my
a nice turf sprinter.
Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Full brother.
Because that's the same family as the other horse that got really good, Dakota Gold.
Yes.
Because that Rambling Wreck and Dakota Gold.
Sorry, my bad. I can't even read my own writing. Full brother to 26 Black.
Who's good. I mean, and there's another turf winner in there as well. No argument with that at all. That's why I have the horse fourth.
And Dam also produced a 3-time winner sprinting on the grass also.
I thought that the turf workout for synthetic workout for Mel's Angel down at OBS, we'll take a look at that. I was actually pretty impressed by this work. And this horse, the Dam, was a winner in the turf. She's produced 1 turf winner that was okay. And this horse leveled off pretty well at the end of this workout. And we'll get it rolling in a moment. And I was going to throw this horse in well for Melanie Giddings.
First crop from the sire, right?
Yes, Leah Frick.
Who won the Clark?
Yes. He's also got is he a half to somebody really good, or am I confused to find that out?
This is going to be the first Leo Frick to try the grass, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there'll be more of them. But I have no argument with you. Graham is way the horse to beat. He obviously ran very, very well first time out of the turf and is an hour the horse to beat. And you have to assume A could be a little more forward, but obviously the position last time was badly affected by the
I couldn't wait to see what you do in the next race.
Well, I've become an unabashed Echo Zulu fan.
Okay.
She's always been good. I've never been against her per se, but I mean, I was so impressed by her Kentucky Oaks. I love watching good horses, seeing what they can do in difficult spots that's against what they're best at. And I thought her Kentucky Oaks was the best race she ever ran. I mean, it was a fast pace. She's not a mile and an eighth horse, and she fought tooth and nail down to the finish. So I'm a huge fan, and we can look at her last race. Greg, I'm not an eye test guy, but man, she toyed with this group.
This is the winning colors we're looking at? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is her 4-year-old comeback race after she had been chasing Goodnight Olive in second from that far outside post. That was so impressive what she did in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. She
Second
dominates
start.
this group. She does on the front end. I'm going to tell you this, though. I desperately wanted to pick Mary Quite Contrarian here, and
Really?
I think she might beat this filly next time out if there's more speed in the race. The only reason I didn't pick her in this race, she's serious. Everyone thinks that if you think it's just a 2 filly race in here, or filly and mare race, because I know Frank's Rockette's a mare, you're wrong. She is very good. And if she gets more pace set up, she's going to be very dangerous.
You want to switch the replays and show Mary Quite Contrary's last race against Goodnight Olive? My problem with that argument is that the Madison was a funny race. And I think Goodnight Olive was somewhat understandably overly worried about society in there. And I think a strong case could be made that they moved too soon in there with her. And she kind of opened up a lot, being fresh off the layoff. And I thought it helped Mary Quite Contrary. I have another question. Are we certain that Goodnight Olive is as good this year as she was last year?
She's pretty good. I mean, well, the margin before this race, right, was not much, but she had to do some work in that race.
Oh, I thought that Goodnight Olive ran much better than the result suggests. You think this horse is just improving tremendously?
This is improving 4-year-old. Look, she's a win machine, too. I was also concerned about the 6 furlongs as well, but she is working out of her skin coming into this, too. This is a serious filly.
So we made a lot on the show the other day about the fact that Frank's Rockette and Echo Zulu, and we'll show Frank's Rockette winning last time. Actually, we'll show her running second in the Honorable Miss last year. I wanted to talk about that. So she's 21 for 27, first or second.
It's unreal.
So it's 19 and 36 starts, and they're 19 and 10, first and second. You throw in Mary Quite Contrary, it's 44, 25, and 12. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. This was a tough loss to a very good horse in Kamari last year. My concern with Frank's Rockette is I'm not sure she hasn't run a little bit better when you look at those Gulfstream races. And I didn't love her last race. She's not going to be competitive if she runs her last race. I thought her last race was very disappointing. But she's an amazing horse. I don't want to knock her.
And, yeah, I mean, against the very best, too. I mean, she usually seems like she runs some huge figures. I agree with you, but they come at different tracks. And she's just a cup below the very, very best. And she's not going to be able to keep up with Echo Zulu, or if she tries. She can't do it.
So your hope is to take some starch out of her, and you're going to play a 1-3 here with a little reverse? I mean, 1-3 will be okay, because I think the 1-2 box is going to be extremely small.
Yeah, it will.
So it's not if you want.
I'm so excited to see her going forward. So the next time out, Ballerina, will more pace show up.
And more horses, Matarea.
Asmussen said this. I'll say this real quick. Asmussen said with Echo Zulu, she's not going to improve off that winning colors.
She's not going to.
He said she's not going to. He said he expects her to improve in the next start.
Okay. Okay, Steve. We got you. I'm holding you to that. I also think Dr. B is not a bad horse. She was horrifically bad last time, but she actually ran well in her return race in the Vagrancy with a horrific trip. And I wonder if she'll run better today. I think this field's a little more competitive than some may suggest.
I agree with you.
I think all 4 of these horses have the capability of running extremely good races.
Back to what you were saying on the show, though, the other day, I do wish it was an 8-horse field.
I agree. Yeah, I know. We were having a discussion about ducking big races. Shockingly, Tom Amoss thinks it's good for trainers to duck big races.
We want to see more people showing up, no question.
We do. Race number 5. I'm going to start with the horse Ivan Top, and you're trying to beat. And you've got third and Quality G. And this was last year in the Tail of the Cat. Now, finishing second, beating Portfolio Company, second at Fort Washington. It was a good form for Shug. Obviously, he's not that horse anymore. And I have no issue, and I talk about this quite a bit, with people against these drop-downs. And the drop-down 35 is pretty severe. And Todd Pletcher clearly wants to lose Quality G. He knows he's going to lose him, so he has to want to lose him. But he actually ran pretty well last time in a race, because that was a crazy fast pace that he was attending. So that bothers me a little more about the drop, but I just thought he was going to be forward, probably behind Lil Bro Coop and I'm not trying to beat this horse.
There's a good chance. I mean, this horse was completely fractious in the gate, too. He's throwing his head around. He was completely unsettled. I'm surprised they're just giving him away because
I agree.
There's potential. This horse, if I was known, I'd be claiming this horse. And there's going to be a lot of people probably in trying to do it, right?
I think people are a little afraid to claim from Todd. He's a tough guy to claim from, but there will be people claiming in here. There will be claims. I agree. And listen, I talk about betting against these horses all the time. So, you know, I can understand people betting them. This is not one that I am trying to beat. What is your case for the number 8 Moonwatch?
I just thought there's a chance Quality G is not the same horse anymore. Taking a shot with that. And, you know, even he's going to be forward potentially in that race. And I don't know, the other Pletcher intrigued me a little bit relate too, but he's too outside for me. St. Joe Louis hasn't improved. He didn't get any faster
We'll show
as a 5-year-old.
We'll show his last race. He just makes a career out of losing. I mean, he's got 7 seconds at 11 starts. And, I mean, look at the prices he has lost at. I mean, it's incredible, right? He's lost this horse at 4-5, 1-2, 3-5, and 1-2. Then 5-2. He was actually 6-1 here.
Can't take this horse.
No, I agree. He hit the board, but he does not win. He wins.
7 seconds, 11 starts. And for me, again, too, even last year, he did not get any faster than he had the year before. There's, you're going to get faster now as a 6-year-old off the bench?
No, he is who he is.
So Moonwatch for me, obviously this damn Moonlight Cloud, 12-time winner, 2.2 million in earnings, 6-time Group 1 winner. It was amazing. Cheek pieces come off, so essentially it's blinkers off. A horse who is
cheek
at least
pieces
in Europe.
Off.
It's basically like blinkers off.
I know. I'm teasing you.
Horse who could be forward over in Europe. But the horse went first time out, showed some talent. I think there's a chance this horse actually wants firm ground. Because you look at last time out, and the horse just did not do well in a good to soft going. Gelded, getting Lasix. Maybe to win first time out, beat an 11-horse field, the horse obviously had a little bit of talent. And now you're making some tweaks here. No one stands out in this group.
No, I agree. There are no killers, and the one is certainly untrustworthy. Now, Nottingham, was Friar Tuck at that race, you think?
What's that?
His first race was at Nottingham. I've never heard of that. Is that, where's Robin Hood take place? Is that Nottingham Forest or something? Or is that,
am
I getting that
right.
wrong? Listen, Jonathan Thomas is a dangerous guy. He's 2 for 9 with his Euros, with his foreign shippers on the turf coming here with a positive ROI, 4 hitting the board. Now, they were mostly at Tampa. He's 0 for 3, but he is the stranger in this group. I thought the 10, Billy's Got Issues, is not impossible in here. Actually ran okay last time out. The second horse was better, but I thought he ran okay, and I didn't really have a whole lot of other stuff going on in here.
I like the 5 a little bit at a big price to hit the board. I don't know if the horse is good enough to win, but this horse is coming back in 6 days out of a spot that was way too tough for him. And he wasn't on Lasix that day. He gets to come back on Lasix. I know it's a quick return. It's just a throw-out race. Look at the race before that. Provision won at the level, gate to wire, but Spetro came back, was third in a state-bred A other than. And in that race, this horse had 0 pay. They went slow and crawled in that race, and he still was able to close into it.
Spetro, I bet Spetro. He came back and wanted a big price. Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah.
All right, that's race number 5. Oh, we'll take a break. We'll be back with the late pick 5 after some words from our good friends at Saratoga Water.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Greg Wolf and Andy Serling, welcome back to Talking Horses. Races are not, as you say, they're not run on paper, they're run on TV screens. And I'm really looking forward to discussing your top pick in here. I hate to break it down to just Big Hazel and Ichabod. I think it's Ichabod. We'll show the maiden race where Big Hazel beat Ichabod. Now, you could argue that Ichabod did more work in this race, and Big Hazel had a perfect trip sitting behind him. You could also say that that was the first time going long and the first time after the debut, which wasn't terrible, on a dry track, on a dry dirt track. So I took Big Hazel, despite the fact that Dave Donk does not have great numbers off of maiden wins in general. I thought it was mostly a 2-horse race between these 2 horses. You clearly do not agree.
You might be right. I just feel like, especially at this level, and I know there's some older horses in here too, but these 3-year-old fillies, you don't know what you're going to get, and they're not. No one in this field is some sort of standout in here. Big Hazel, I agree with you. I mean, the 2 starts on a fast surface for this horse for Donk, even though they're slow figures, at least showed ability. To me, I thought with Ichiban, aside from one horse that damned through Ava's Grace, it's all sprinters. So I'm really questioning a 1 1/8 with this horse.
No, I agree. I think a 1 1/8 could be a real stretch for
So
Ichiban.
the only horse who's wanted a 1 1/8 in this field, and I know it was a slow figure and it was at Finger Lakes, but she's cold as ice. But I actually do like the race this horse is coming out of. Last time out, that was a really slow pace. I know she was 3 to 5 in that spot, but she was wide and was able to get up and still get it done. The fact that she's won at a 1 1/8 as well played big for me. So no one else to me, and the figure she earned in that race too, even though it's a Finger Lakes figure, it's going to make her tough if she can reproduce it here at Saratoga.
I mean, the only race she ran here in Saratoga, she was so massively over her head that it's hard to, and it was a muddy track, it's hard to make too much of a case about that race. So, listen, she'll be a price. Good luck. I get it. What about Athena Beach? Show her last race at Penn, or second to last race at Penn National. This was going a mile. She's undefeated. Now, I worry that there's other speed in here because Dancer Duro inside of her, you have to figure she's going to go for Bill Morey. And Raylu's not a guy who's shy to be aggressive. So it feels like the pace could get a little hot, which also isn't going to help Ichabod and probably helps others a little bit more because Ichabod, not that she's a speed, but she's a more forward horse. And if you think she has distance problems. But these are sort of sneaky, smart connections. And I don't want to just completely throw out a horse that's 4 for 4. I just worry the pace may, blow up in this horse's face.
Second dam from this filly was a multiple stakes winning sprinter on the grass. So, again, these 1 1/8 races, it becomes a massive test of endurance.
I agree, especially
and some of these
for this group.
really struggle, and that's why I think maybe, certainly she's cold as ice. It doesn't have to be the best horse in the race, but the best horse at a 1 1/8, maybe.
Right. No, I agree. What's not dissimilar to the long-distance turf races. There are horses that would be completely uncompetitive going a mile to a 1 1/8 that become extremely competitive in the longer distances. And I think the 1 1/8 races up here, a situation like this can get that way. Race number 7 is a terrific race, and I'm really glad it held together. I think we should start by talking about Arrest Me Red, the number 8. And I'll go back and show the race behind Caravel in the Shakertown. I think we'll probably all agree if he's able to run this well, he's probably going to be tough to beat in here. And you could argue he was victimized by a slow pace 2 back. How much trouble he had is debatable. It's so hard to watch the races on Derby Day. And last time out, he was a bit wide. The pace was ridiculously slow. They're better horses. I'm a little worried, though, that he may be tailing off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a horse who was favored, though, in a grade 2. He's a monster. He is an absolute monster, but I agree. I think his numbers are tailing off a little bit, and there's some up-and-comers in this race, including the horse I win. He's a major factor. I'm with you. If he shows up and runs his A race, he's going to win. I'm not convinced he's going to do that. I thought the 9 was interesting off that race 2 back, and I wound up going to Our Shot, the 2, who I think is kind of the up-and-comer that. Well, I'll get to him in a minute. You can talk
go
about
ahead. Talk about Our Shot. I agree with you. He's a big player here.
He's put back-to-back races together where he's been ultra tough. I know that pace. You say, well, why didn't 20 and 4, 43 and change? Shouldn't he have been able to close into that pace? They were flying up front. They still finished extremely fast. He had trouble out of the gate, which not listed there. He actually got pushed and squeezed out of the gate.
You see a lot of those paces at Monmouth, too. You got to be careful getting too much of them in 5 furlong turf sprints.
And isn't it interesting that 2 back, Keeneland, he's on the lead with the guy who's back on him today, Louis Saez. So he has the ability to be in front and be forward. There's a chance maybe he's in front in this race.
He also beat, well, don't you think? Well, I guess. Though I don't think it's much pace. With Louis Saez, I think that's a good point. I think it's not impossible. He buried Bound for Nowhere that day, and they bet him like they knew.
Yeah.
He was 3 to 1 in there. They knew he was going to run well. And I got him third. And I think there's a lot of horses that can win this race. I think Thin Light Duke can win this race. We'll take a look at him winning the Troy. Now the Lucky Coin last year. Now the Harvey Pack. But he almost won the Troy last year. He actually finished just behind Golden Pal that day. And I think the thing that concerns me about him is the lack of pace. This is how well he really came alive in Saratoga last summer, which I don't think should be ignored. You're a bigger horse for course guy than me, but to deny how well this horse moved forward in Saratoga would be to deny reality. And he ran very well last time in a ridiculous slow-paced race, going 7 furlongs. And I thought his last race a lot better than it looks.
I'm a fan of this horse. I know I don't have him in, but he would not
I have
shock
him
me at
fourth,
all.
but I'm not.
I've loved watching him compete. And he's never been off the board here in 5 starts at Saratoga.
No, I think he's dangerous. You talk about Outlaw Kid. I was talking about him with my friend Nick Tamaro this morning, actually. I think he likes him more than I do. His huge figure came on a day. I think George Weaver won like 3 or 4 races. And I didn't love his last race because the third-place finisher was the speed, but it was a pretty hectic pace. And he's drawn well towards the outside, so even if he ends up being the speed, he should be well placed.
Working well, apparently, coming out of a Group 2. All right, you need to explain yourself.
Well,
Coppola.
I don't think you'll argue with me that if Coppola can run back to that race 3 back, he can win this race. Now, the question with him is it just an aberrant effort? And you and I talk a lot in the show, especially in New York, about betting horses off one number. But our whole point is always don't bet a horse at a short price off one number. This horse is not going to be a short price. I don't think his race at Pimlico was terrible. He was caught 4 wide that day. I didn't love the effort, but he never got into a good spot in there. And then last time out, I mean, drew a post 14 in the Jaipur, 5 wide around the racetrack in a paceless race like that. He never had any chance to get into the running of the race. So I feel like there's enough reason to give him a chance off of that big race down at Churchill. And I feel like that race at Churchill is complete. That race, to me, that figure looked completely legit. Now, he got a good trip that day.
Dale was on fire at that meet.
Yeah, we'll see. Listen, I know. But, you know, Dale will always have 1 or 2 horses up here that'll run really well. And I'm just kind of hoping. Listen, I don't love him in here. I feel like he's going to be in the 10-1 range, and I didn't love that many others, so I'm going to make a case for him as a potential price play. I feel like he's a bit of an all or nothing in here. This is a super race.
I love this
Even
race.
Chewing Gum, who lost his good form, but I wouldn't completely dismiss him. He's got back races to give him a shot.
I think Bring Me a Check has a chance to get a piece of it.
I have no idea how he beat me last time. He did sit on a slow pace, but he has dramatically improved and in good form. Race number 8. We'll take a look at the Amanda's Folly race when she beat a couple in here. And this is the 1 1/8 question, right?
Yeah.
Pace advantage, Cinderella's cause out. Amanda's Folly is totally loose in here. But, man, she's got to get a 1 1/8. How did she blow this race?
This was rough. And you say, well, couldn't finish the deal here at a mile. How do you like her today? I didn't initially pick her, but with the scratch of the 1, she's loose. She's on the front end, and if she gets it easy enough, I mean, they can all win at a 1 1/8, right? If they do it easily enough.
Of course. And to be fair, Mia Be a Star is a weird horse that doesn't win a lot. But she consistently runs figures, Beyer figures in the mid to low 70s. So it's not like she isn't a good horse. She happened to have run that day.
She was running big. And by the way, a long way back, one who was not making up ground was a horse who's probably going to be favored in here, right?
Oh, well, that's the question of the race. And by the way, this is not Jose Ortiz's first race back, but we are happy that Jose is back. And I hope he picks up some wins here because he lost quite a few wins, but more importantly,
to his brother.
Yes, I know, which I'm sure that both are reminding each other of in different ways. But I'm just glad he's healthy, as you are too, and glad to hear he's back. A good guy, a great rider, and just really glad to hear he's back.
Can I ask you real quick? It was a mystery to me why there's so much love for Sweet Mystery in this race.
Well, I mean, first of all, I picked her last time.
Okay.
But 3 to 5 was insane. And she was awful. Now, you've got her on top. I've got her second.
No. That's wrong. I told everyone
2-5?
It was 2-5. I don't know how I can explain it much better in my email. So the 2's my top pick.
By the way, Greg emailed you. So shame on you. I'm sure it's fine.
No, with the scratch of initially.
Yes, this is a scratch where I have, we try to stick to our picks, but that scratch befure the thing go up. Yeah.
I initially picked the 1
because
that horse is out.
If you knew the 1 wasn't running, you would have picked the 2.
Yeah.
And there are changes you have to
so
make.
So the 2 is my pick. Yeah.
Right. I get that. I don't know. It's a Sweet Mystery. She was awful last time. Now she's a better horse than that, but to take a horse that just ran so poorly last time. I mean, and Trevor was riding her a half mile to go,
Making
and she
up
had
no
nothing.
ground.
So that's why I went to BB's Busted. And I fully understand that BB's Busted beat nobody last time, but she did get completely left in there. I mean, way behind the field and made a big run in there. And she has run better races. She feels like a horse that should be able to handle the distance. She's got fast figures, not just at Finger Lakes. I'm just going to take a shot that this race falls apart in the late stages, and she's the only one that can really come running at the end. So I'm in on BB's Busted.
I'd love to try and beat Sweet Mystery. Yeah, I mean that horse probably will be the favorite.
I just wanted to. Isn't a Man's Folly with a scratch going to be favored though?
You're
you
probably
got to
right.
think with
You're
the
probably right.
pace advantage. So the ninth race is a super race at 1 3/8. And I thought there was an enormous amount going on in here. And it's funny that you picked. I'm so sorry because I was talking to Nick about Tamaro about this horse this morning. Why don't you start by talking about your pick?
So, just based off figures, right? I mean, the horse to beat is Estelle Forte. Don't you think?
Right. LS Fort.
Fort?
This one would be Fort.
Okay, Fort. But that
we're going
horse
to
just doesn't
mispronounce
win.
the other one. We're going to pronounce
All right,
this
I'll
one
get this
correctly.
one. This horse just
I was
doesn't
waiting
win.
to do that with you, actually.
I
You fell
knew
into
you
my
were.
trap. You're like
That's why I set you up for it on
spider
purpose.
over here. I agree. We'll get to her race.
7 seconds and 15 starts. I think this horse dropping out of a stake and was right behind LS Fort 2 starts back. It's just the fact that moving to Mike Maker, this horse, the man who his reputation in this game, he moves horses up, going longer, going into his barn. I want this horse of anyone else with upside.
You mean Therapist winning a Grade 1?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Did we show the LS Fort race? Oh, we did. Okay. That's problematic. But that's okay. Yeah, I agree with you about, I guess it's LA Fort. I think it's LA Fort.
Oh, well done. Nice.
Anyway, I agree. 7 seconds and 15 starts, I put the horse second. I agree. She's obviously good enough to win, but she doesn't win. I don't like these horses. Because I'm So Sorry was third in there. I get it. Nick was making the case to me, he thought she could try to wire the field. Now, I can't imagine that Sister Bridget, who, by the way, you have second in there, is not going to go here. I know they took blinkers off, but she's got to go again. Are you worried that Mike Maker's barn's a little cold at this meet?
Yeah, but this is where he wakes. This is what he does.
Isn't this,
would you argue this is what he does better than anything else?
No, he's great at that. There's no argument you're saying, but this is a router already. Isn't this horse kind of a loner for Brian Lynch? I'm assuming that Brian Lynch is, I'm going to guess, and I could be totally wrong, but doesn't it feel like Brian's probably not paying New York State's Workman Comp, and maybe they moved some horses they wanted to ship here? It's just what it felt like to me that he's not, he doesn't, whether it's with his license or something to do with not being stable in New York, because I haven't seen Brian with horses here. Is he here?
Okay,
we love Brian. I was hoping he'd be here. I guess we could ask our friend Frank Lyons or Brian. So I imagine it's something like that, and this horse kind of very recently got to Mike, right?
Okay, you could be right.
Yeah, because you see he's working at Churchill on July 5th, and he's here, so that mitigated a little to me. Listen, I'm not going to, she's obviously a contender in here. Such Sounds, the 6, is the horse to show the trip on, though, because she did win 2 race back at 1 3/16. And then last time out, I mean, she's making potentially a winning move here. She's the number 2 horse, and she just gets completely sawed off. And I'm not sure she wasn't coming through this hole and just gets completely stopped. So she's an interesting horse, isn't she, off a massive trip?
For probably the connections that had the best meet of anyone last year.
Phil Bauer, correct.
6 for 13.
Do you think doing a car talk is going to help or hurt him going forward?
It's
open.
Could
it's
be a career.
I'm going to find out. I don't know. We haven't talked to Jonathan and hear what the ROI is of trainers in Saratoga.
Do they move forward?
I don't know. I want to know.
Car talk.
Does car talk help their percentage? Does it hurt them? Is it because if it becomes bad luck, he may not be able to get any guests anymore. And then we'll have to do it.
You can put that into Formulator and find out.
Car talk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you my argument on Rambeek.
Okay. I've loved this horse in the past, by the way.
Well, first of all, I liked her last time. She took no money. She was coming off of a 7.5-month layoff, going a mile and a quarter. If you watch that stretch, and I didn't bring up the replay, but feel free to bring it up, and you can watch it in your Naira Bets account, I felt like she was blocked behind horses the entire way in the stretch and never got a chance to make that outside run. And Trevor was trying to get her out, and he couldn't get out in the clear. And now, second off the layoff, if I'm going to lose with her last time, I'm going to lose with her again today at a price.
I believe I was on Talking Horses. I actually picked her, but that day, we didn't run that day, or something happened. And that race was rewritten?
Oh, this may have been the Friday we canceled because of when we canceled the paddock for the smoke, correct. And they brought the race back. I was not in that day. I believe you're correct. Now, we have to talk about Siempre Elegante. Did you watch the last race?
Briefly.
Okay. She did get steadied and checked. But I thought one of the reasons she did was she couldn't keep up with the horse outside of her, who was going by her. Now, there is a fair argument that she sort of re-rallied after that. But I also think it's fair to ask, was she re-rallying or was the race falling apart in front of her at the late stages of the race? Now, she's going to stretch out to mile 3/8 where she ran fine. It is the Chad Brown factor, but he's getting the horse from Saffie Joseph, who wins at a high percentage. I could see this horse winning, but couldn't you also see this horse getting way over bet? Irad and Chad,
the horse,
trouble line last time.
There's no question the horse is going to get over bet. Yeah, with these connections, with Irad aboard. This, first of all, we got to talk about this. Star, I understand he got a few wins from his brother. 21 wins. He's on pace. I said it on the show on Sunday for 93 wins at the meet.
Feeling good about your bet, aren't you, big boy? Feeling pretty good about
already
that
over,
bet now,
isn't
aren't
it?
you?
It's
I actually
over.
forgot. I thought about this morning when I was thinking about. I think when I was tweeting and you were on the show, I thought, oh, Greg's got me on that bet. Yes, he's obviously had an amazing start. Now, on the other hand, he probably have 5. Even if he had 5 less wins and he had 16 wins, he's averaging 1.7 wins a day.
Yeah.
Keeping it up will be hard, but obviously he is starting off just with an incredible beginning. There have also been a lot of logical results.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping that mitigates.
But there's been a few that he absolutely earned it. Made a difference.
Tremendous rider. Yeah. I mean, it's anybody that doesn't understand how good Irad Ortiz is not paying attention.
Real quick, are we moving on from this race?
No.
Anatolian for Maker, who gets in. Does he scare you? She scare you, sorry?
No.
No.
I still, as of yet, have no idea why she was bet last time. She was bet because Irad rode her.
Okay.
I took a lot of heat from people because I said she was hopelessly overmatched in there, and none of them, of course, came back after the race. It's shocking how that happens on social media. But
all right.
No, I didn't really get her at all. I thought she was in a terrible race 2 back. I know over summer people were excited because she ran second in the Robert G. Dick.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an aberrant effort. I didn't like her. But
Okay.
she does get in. She's not impossible. It's a good race. I mean, I don't like her, but I guess she could win.
It's probably one of the best betting races, if not the best on the card, no?
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
great. I think the last race is actually a really fun
do too.
version of
Yeah,
this,
I love this race.
condition. And there's a lot going on in here. I want to start with Conquest, who you and I, you have second and I have Nowhere.
Waffler. Okay.
Oh, I was going to pick Waffler on top, but David Argona loves him, so I decided to pick him second.
Okay.
Honestly, because I just take another horse. Well, I also have a history with Waffler, but I'll get to. Oh, no, he's a lot more interesting when you watch the replays. How did this horse lose this race? And don't you feel like this was the one that they just dropped in his lap?
Who are we watching?
Conquest.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
if
this
he
is
didn't
brutal.
win this race, why would you want him today? And there's a race where there's so many other interesting
I agree.
horses.
I agree. And that's ultimately why I went against this horse.
I'm just pitching him.
There's problems with a couple of horses. So there's as much problems with him not winning that race. There's problems with your mission not getting out of the game. And it's not been his fault, your mission, has it? The last couple of starts.
But because he's gotten 2 sort of mediocre rides in a row from different top jockeys. So I'm starting to think he's just one of these horses that makes good riders look bad.
Okay.
Irad Ortiz gave him, sort of on the surface things, just a completely non-Irad bad ride, 2 back. And then Javier sort of got lost on him as well. And you start seeing, and it's like a pattern. You start to think, it's not the rider's fault. This is one of these guys that riders say,
But the slow starts have not been his fault. And now the outside post again, that turn comes up fast here.
Yep.
He's tough to take.
He is tough to take. I agree. He causes his own problems. You have him third, I have him fourth. Talk about Wayward Ghost, who obviously I have a little interest in as well. And he's going to be a big price.
Yeah, so, they're
He's
coming
bigger than 10 to 1, isn't he?
What's that?
It's got to be bigger than 10
Oh,
to 1
I would think so
here.
for sure. The Dam produced a 2-time winner on the grass, a couple of them, including a multiple stakes place runner. The second Dam from this horse was Parade Queen, who was a multiple graded stakes winner on the grass.
Neil Howard, I think?
Was it?
I think. Not sure.
This horse actually was not running a lot early, and Control Alt Elite was in that race as well. That horse actually ran a little bit early and then backed up.
This horse ran significantly better than
This
Control
horse,
Alt Elite.
though, started running late and started figuring. I just think
very
the horse was a
green.
little lost. Yeah. Didn't know what he was doing, and then started to kick into gear, and that was the debut. Start number 2, I think this horse is going to make a huge move forward. And as we said with some of the other horses in this race, there's concerns with a lot of them.
Right. I want to go towards horses, which I've clearly done with my first 3 picks, that are unexposed. Now, maybe they all just aren't very good, which is always a possibility. And with Indian Mischief, I mean, she's she produced Marchex Express. She was a sprinter, but she was a good horse for Todd Pletcher. And there's two turf winners from there, so there is a reason to think this horse could be a turf horse. Now, I don't love that Linda Rice drops into a maiden claiming race, as opposed to trying maiden specials, if she thought the horse was pretty good in the turf. But how good does she have to be here? And maybe she's not good enough to beat maiden specials, but can compete here. So I'm going to take her as a bit of a flyer in this race as sort of a new face. As far as Waffler, I had forgotten originally that I had picked Waffler last time, because you should watch Waffler's first race again.
All right, I got to go back.
This horse was stayed along quite a bit, got in significant trouble around the turn, and basically, once beaten at that point, was not overly pushed in the late stages
Did David
of that
pick
race.
this horse last time?
No, I did. I don't know if he did. I know I picked this horse last time because I looked it up.
Okay.
I actually looked it up, and I realized, I looked at the June 18th picks, and I said, I think I picked this horse last time.
Okay.
And I looked it up, and I knew going short was probably too short for this horse. So I think this horse is super, super interesting in here. But once again, like your horse, like my horse, none of them have proven conclusively that they're that good.
Yeah.
So we're both sort of hoping. And I feel like I don't mind fooling around hoping one of them sort of takes a step forward.
Yeah, and again, too, I mean, just drawn all the way outside, the concern with that turn coming up quick.
I agree.
But Trevor McCarthy is one of those guys I feel most confident with that he's going to find the room and try and save ground.
He'll do the best he can.
As good as anyone.
I mean, the horse to beat here is the one that you have fourth and I have fifth.
The three,
is
right?
Vince the Prince. I just feel like dropping out of the stake and going here. I don't want to take a short price on him, but he's probably the most logical, right?
Yes, although his figures have not been that great.
Yeah.
He's just going to take money because of who he's been in against.
He just sort of runs along, right? He's okay.
But
I love
I'm
Michelle
with you. He's
Nevin,
probably
but-
going to be favored in the race.
Yeah, I think he's probably marginally the horse to beat.
Yeah.
I would certainly prefer him over Conquest, who, in my opinion, if he couldn't win last time, he's going to beat me in here. All right, it's a lot of fun, Greg. Thank you very much. Greg will be here on Wednesdays. Acacia Clement will be joining us again on tomorrow, as she is on Thursdays. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, use the promo code SPOT200, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. We have pick four, 3, 4, and 7 for the pick fours on today's card. We have a $10 bonus if you bet 50 or more at Saratoga and Delaware. You got to opt in over at Naira Bets. We have First Responders Day. That'll be tomorrow. So free admission for all first responders. Hope you can join us. Get more information at Naira.com. We have a $300 buy-in contest on Friday. You have until Saturday, you have until 5 o'clock Friday. Head over to Naira.com/contest. And we started this just last week, I believe, the feeder contest for $40 on Fridays to try to earn an entry into the contest. I love this idea. I think it's a really great idea. Head over to Naira.com/contest. More information on that. I'm assuming you have until late tomorrow to sign up for that. And the contest. Not the contest, and the show. 1 to 6:30, also a contest.
It's sort of like the $40 buy-in. It's like a qualifier, right, to get into a major tennis tournament?
It's like the feeder things for they have them for the World Series and different things. I like that idea. It's a good way to get it in. Of course, tomorrow's low roller day as well. Greg, thanks a lot. Greg will be on late. I will be on early. Frank Miramonte, he'll be on all day. He's coming up next, the reprise, Scratch and Changes. Have a great day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.